Sahana bhavatu Sahano Hunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we were studying about what is religion. What is religion means obviously what is positive religion, what is correct religion, which is our attempts to find the truth, our attempt to find the self, our attempt to find the reality. The religion, all religions are merely a tool to help us do that. Now, whether it is which religion it is, doesn't matter because every religion is trying to do the same thing. They use different methods and different, they say do this, do that, do something else. Somebody says fast on this day, somebody says eat this, they're all doing the same thing in spite of all the instructions being different. So, positive religion is when you want to find the truth, the reality, the divinity, the transcendental, whatever each one is inspired by. Negative religion is when you want to do something else. When all you're doing is using your religious pursuits for worldly ends. That's negative religion. So why do we call it religion at all? Why don't we just say it's not religion? Why call it negative religion? Why do we call it religion at all?
We're using it as a guise, a pretense to it.
So that's not how, why is that even religion? Why call it negative religion? Says it's not religion. That is all nonsense. That's what they're doing. But why are we, we are not saying following rituals is negative religion. Please be very careful on what is we are calling negative religion.
Because I think it is Instead of taking you towards the truth, these practices take you sort of away from the truth or not towards it. That's why it's negative.
Okay, but then why call it religion? Say that's not negative, that's not religion. That's simple enough, right? To say this is religion, this is not religion. Why are you saying this is positive religion, this is negative religion? There's no such thing as a positive religion, right?
Because that is taking you towards the self and negative is towards the world. That's what the definition is, right?
That's what the definition is. But my question is that I don't think the question is clear. The question is this: we are calling what is religion as positive religion. We are calling what is not religion as negative religion. You all understand religion is a noun. The positive or the negative words are adjectives. That means there is something. This is one is this type of, there is hair, that's a noun. This is black hair, this is blonde hair. Right? But they're both hair. Black hair means it is hair. Blonde hair means it is hair. Gray hair means it is hair. So if you say positive religion and negative religion, that means you're accepting it as religion. Correct? So why would you say that? Why was the author not saying that? Simply saying, this is religion, this is not religion. Why not?
Because the title of the chapter is Use and Abuse.
Mhm.
You're using religion or you're abusing religion essentially. That is why it is called negative religion.
Okay. You could interpret it like that. Prashant, they know that there is a higher. Yes, very good. The thing is, even if you do things which are not really religion, not positive religion, the fact is you have an association with divinity. Okay, that itself is something. Because 90% of the world has no association with divinity. Now we'll say Kumbh Mela. How many 6 crore people went there? I believe that. I don't know. 6 crore, wasn't it? I don't know, whatever.
66. 66.
66 crores. 66 crores. Okay. 66 crore people went there. Right? There are 8 billion people on this planet. I'm not saying all those who didn't go there are not religious. I don't think any of us went there either. But the thing is, whatever, Vatican, anywhere, if you were to count all the people going to all the religious places or doing all the religious things of the world, whatever they are, they would not be more than 10% of the population. Isn't that correct? That means 90% of all humans have got nothing whatsoever to do with it. They can't be bothered. These people who we are calling negative religion, at least they are bothered. At least they are saying something. At least they say God. Kuch to kar rahe hain. That is why, and why we use this kind of terminology is because in Vedanta, unlike what you might imagine, there is a very, very strong, what should I say, reliance on authority. You would think that in Vedanta, they say, they always say, dump authority, all this talk is there. But there's a very high reliance on authority in Vedanta. Like in Gita, he goes on and on saying, right? He never says, I said it. He says, so do the Upanishads say, so have our masters said. There's a very strong reliance. So in the Vedanta treatise, if you notice that none of this is there, and yet that strong reliance is there. This formulation, negative religion and positive religion, comes from a particular verse of the Bhagavad Gita where he says that there are 4 types of people who seek me. Okay, the arthi, artharthi, jignasu, the same things. What we are studying here, this is just from the Gita. These people who are approaching me for wealth or for emotional solace or out of curiosity. Now he's accepting that they're approaching him. In that same line, this book also accepts that these people are religious. Will we say that everybody who's going to Kumbh Mela or Vatican or Mecca, Medina, wherever, they're not religious? We can't say that. We're saying, okay, they are all religious. But positive religion is when you're doing all of this to reach the self, to reach the ultimate truth. That is why we're accepting it as religious. We're not denouncing them. They're not religious. We're not saying that. We're accepting. तुम लोग भी हो religious. But थोड़ा जरा इस side आ जाओ, you know. We are being persuasive. चलो यार थोड़ा shift करो. Okay, I hope that's clear. Because if you claim that this is negative religion, then this is also religion. It's just negative. Just like hair or anything else. You know, this is what? Anything. When you have a noun and an adjective, your assumption is that that noun is. Correct? I said this is a good girl, this is a bad girl, but both are girls, no? If I say this is a big vessel, this is a small vessel, but both are vessels only. What else? Wherever there's a noun and an adjective, you're assuming that the object is there. Okay, point clear? Move on.
Janki ji,
Mhm.
what happens if we mix it? Sometimes in a certain mood we are seeking self, but sometimes when you are in trouble and all, no, you may go to the negative religion also, emotional for solace or other worldly things. So is it natural or?
Yeah, of course. He's accepting it as religion, no?
Mm.
He's not saying, don't you dare do that. He's calling it religion.
No, people like us do that. That is why I asked.
Everybody does. I'll see, there's no doubt about that. Because when all hope is gone, now where are you going to place your hope? You do say to the Lord, take care of this. And sometimes he agrees and does it. If you think about even the university, we are small people. We don't have any, we are all of us. None of us are so wealthy or so rich that we can give out crores and all. If anyone gives donation, they'll give few thousands at best, a lakh or two, right? Now we have a project of 108 crores. How? How is this going to happen? So we tell the Lord that this is your job. You do it, not our job. We are not bothered. We are doing our work. It's your job. You do it. If you want it there, you do it. And then we have had like miracles happen all along the way. That, you know, just pushing this thing forward, little bit forward. He's looking after it. So we are chilled and relaxed. We go to bed every night knowing that someone is awake.
Yes. Thank
Yeah,
you.
acceptable. Who will read the next paragraph?
I read, ma'am.
Please.
People in the third category pursue religion to satisfy mere intellectual curiosity, to clear their doubt and confusion about the world. They consume various literature which provides them a satisfaction to their general queries. No sooner they find their intellectual solutions than their pursuit of religion ends. Their subtle intellect remains dormant. It lacks the strength or conviction to delve deeper into the quintessence of life. They have practically no spiritual urge to realize the supreme self within, attain spiritual liberation. So this is the third type of people who just pursue religion to satisfy intellectual curiosity. But once that is done, they stop. they do not go, and their subtle intellect remains dormant. So they just don't go to reach the self, but all queries about the world and philosophy they try to understand.
Very good. And I think this is easy for us to understand because you'll see this. I mean, because we are in Vedanta, you expect that at least some of the people who come here will come with that intention of satisfying curiosity. But if you go to a philosophy department in a college, even Vedanta philosophy, you will just see how much there is just an emphasis on who said what. Okay, so I know what Russell has to say. I know what Kant has to say. I know what Shankara has to say. Madhava has to say. I know all this stuff. And we think there's some feather in our cap because of it. And you can have a discussion, and maybe a good discussion, because intellectuals can have good discussions. So have a good discussion on it, feel very intellectually stimulated. And that's where it ends. There used to be one boy in class, he used to come and used to say, I just want to know the philosophy of it. He did a course somewhere and he did world philosophies over there. And then when he was doing world philosophies, they touched all the philosophies of the world. And then they did a little, obviously, they touched Vedanta. And he thought that was very interesting. So when there was a class near his house, this was during the time when we used to have real world classes, he started attending class. Very good student, a very nice person, very supportive of our work also. But all his interest is in just knowing what does Vedanta say. It's a very interesting thing that you can be so close and yet so far away. Paschannapi chana pashyati mudaha, says Shankar. Paschannapi, though seeing, na paschan, do not see. What can you see? There is nothing one can, there's nothing one can say.
Hariom, ma'am, subtle intellect, how does it help? Gross is, I know, it looks at the functioning of the world, the basic philosophies, trying to understand. Subtle intellect, what role does it plays to get to the self, and how is it different from gross? I know it has to do with intuition and all, but can you just slightly elaborate?
The intellect means discrimination. A human being has two types of discrimination. One discrimination is the discrimination. Why is your video off? You're still in Mumbai or you've gone back? Still in Mumbai. Okay. So the discrimination means your capacity to tell two things apart. That's what discrimination means. Now we have as human beings two types. One is the type that functions in the world. So tall and short, day and night, good and bad, all of this, you can tell the difference. Now, all the way up to astrophysics, nuclear physics, anything, it's all in the world. There's a second type of discrimination between the world and what is not the world. World, not world. Means world, self. Right? Two. When your discrimination functions in the world, we call it the gross intellect. When the discrimination is between the world and something beyond the world, it's called the subtle intellect. So without the subtle intellect's emergence, nobody can be on the spiritual path. Because first you need the discrimination. This is world, this is not world. Right? Unless you have that, you cannot be on the spiritual path. It is what tells you that there is something else to aspire. So 3 types of ways in which we can do religion incorrectly. One is to seek material wealth, one is to seek emotional solace, and third is to be intellectually curious. Now, what is the tragedy in this? See, let's go backwards, okay? If you say, okay, what is your problem? I am studying Vedanta because I want to know. Why we highlighted this? Omkar, are you the host? Okay.
Yes, Janki.
Yeah. Just removing the highlight. Why is it so important that, or what is the difference between seeking knowledge of Vedanta as intellectual curiosity and seeking Vedanta knowledge as a spiritual path? What is the difference that comes about? The most fundamental difference, I won't even call it importance, the most fundamental difference is when you collect knowledge of the philosophy, you become an encyclopedia. But when you use it as part of your spiritual path, you develop discrimination. Now, we don't often talk about this, but this is the most important aspect of your spiritual growth, that you're able to discriminate. You're able to tell two things apart. It's also the most important part of how you will live your life. Because if you can't tell the difference, how are you going to do it? You just can't tell the difference. It's all ek hi baat. Can you give me examples? You can't tell the difference. You can't tell the difference between who's your friend and who's not. You can't tell the difference between who's your benefactor, who is not. You can't tell the difference. You can't tell the difference as to what is healthful and what is not, then what will be the consequence?
You will eat whatever is available.
Yeah, you will be unhealthy. You can't tell the difference between who's your friend and who's not your friend. Then what will be the consequence?
You'll be in bad company.
You'll be in bad company. The most fundamental thing is developing that discrimination. And if that is not there, what is the point? Oh, I have so much information. I know so much about Vedanta. So what? Do you have that basic discrimination or you don't have it? You can't tell what is wealth and what is poverty. Then what will happen to you?
You'll be poor.
You'll be poor. What happened to the rest of y'all? Only Deepraj knows the answers. Everybody else is quiet. You'll be poor, right? So from this you understand why the knowledge of Vedanta makes you very successful in the world. Why does it make you very successful in the world?
Because it improves your discrimination.
Okay, so
That's why you can tell which is the right thing to do and which is not the right thing to do. And that's make you successful.
it's a very strange thing. You know how to choose. You just know how to choose. And when you know how to choose, you become successful. Whether you're choosing an action or you're choosing a friend or you're choosing anything, you know how to choose. Yes, decisions are better. That is how Vedanta makes you successful in the world. But if you come to Vedanta to become successful in the world, what will happen?
You will fail.
Yes, you'll fail at both. You really fail at both. Worldly success is a byproduct of your growth. Your focus is on your growth as a human being. And worldly success has to be a byproduct. And then you say, how? If I'm focusing on spiritual growth, how will I get worldly success? It's just a matter of what you're able to see. Sometimes you will just see an opportunity. You will deal with that opportunity. You will make in that opportunity, like maybe you do one transaction in the year and make as much money as everybody else is making the whole year round. Because you've developed that ability. And also, I think the Lord helps. Somehow, if you have lived a Vedantic life, things just help. Meera, that's why we need this knowledge from a young age. A lot of bad decisions could be avoided which are taken in youth. Yes, a lot of them could be avoided. All will never be avoided, but yes, a lot can be avoided. And we are working on it, Meera. Once we have a university, we will have lots of teachers. Once we have lots of teachers, then they will go to their various schools, colleges, all over the world. They can go teach. We are good. We are doing what we can. What else can we do?
Yes, Janki ji.
But in the meanwhile, what are the rest of us to do? University aayega tab aayega. What are the rest of us to do?
Deep studies.
We develop our own discrimination. That's what we have to do. University comes, doesn't come, that's not in our hands. But whether we will work hard to develop our own discrimination, very much in our hands. Once you've got that, the world is in your hands. You're just not going to be influenced by what is happening in the world or by, you're not influenced by what is happening in the world or by,
Your likes and dislikes.
very good, or your own mind. Some of us are influenced by what's happening in the world. Some of us are influenced by what's happening in the mind. Hey, Bhagwan, between these two, we've all gone mad. Nobody can keep just their feet on the ground. You may be angry, you may be unhappy, you may be happy. So many emotions you go through. But your intellect is still able to see what is right and what is wrong. Momita, mind is influenced by the world. Yes, that is also true. There is the world influencing you, there is a mind influencing you, then there's the mind with its own influences plus worldly influences. This khichdi is driving us all mad. And lunatics we become. What all choices? Two world leaders meet and they start shouting at each other. What all world choices? What all choices? And based on these guys, our sensex goes up, goes down. Our country goes up, goes down. सबके सब पागल ही है यहाँ पे. Yes, Momita.
What does it mean to be influenced by the mind otherwise? Because the mind is anyway a product of the world only.
Yeah? Where did that come from? Mind is a product of the world. Give me
What
chronology
we mean
of the
is
action.
the body, mind, intellect, all three are conditioned by the world.
You cannot be conditioned except up to the extent that you have that desire.
But what does it mean to be influenced by the mind?
When your emotions, likes and dislikes are very strong, your intellect is not able to take rational decisions.
Right, but that is also the conditioning of the world only. That's the influence of the world only. So how is it different?
No, how? What is the chronology of action? Go step by step. What is the chronology of action?
Vasanas, thoughts, desires.
And then?
Actions.
Action.
Then?
Consequences.
World. Now you see how we hold two contradictory thoughts in our own head. One thing tells me that all my actions and what is happening in the world is coming from my vasanas. One thing is telling me what is happening in my mind is coming from the world. Now you resolve this for yourself. Which one are you taking? Both are your views. Now you decide how they fit. Do they fit? Which is correct?
So yeah, so the vasanas are not of the world. They just are.
Yeah, they're your own vasanas. Now, if you have a vasana for drinking, okay, you happen to be born in Goa, you will drink Feni. You happen to be born in Germany, you will drink beer. In France, you will drink wine. In Scotland, you will drink whiskey. So you are being influenced. But on that base, if you don't have vasana for drinking, you'll be born anywhere in the world, you won't do it.
Yeah, thank you.
Ma'am, a follow-up question. The question is, we speak about bound choices and unbound choices, right? Free will and this thing. So, how do you define a free will choice? I don't know whether I'm making the statement, this thing, because everything seems to be influenced by the world, but this is also contradictory statement that vasanas create the world. So, how can we say decision is or choice is truly free will without being influenced by anyone?
How can we say? Can you specify? How can we know, or how can we
How can
know
we
that
know?
it
Yes.
exists?
How can we know?
How can we know that this is my free will thing, or
Hmm.
how can we know that free will exists at all?
No, the first question.
How can we know that this is? You cannot know.
You cannot know.
How can you know? Because it's going to manifest in your intellect as it is.
So likewise, we can't tell the difference between prarabdha and purushartha, right?
You can't tell the difference between prarabdha. Yeah, that's just a technical way of saying the same thing. It all has to flow through your intellect, mind, body, right? So any choice is going to first come to your intellect, then to your body, then to your mind. Now, has it come from Purushartha or has it come from Vasana? There's no way you can tell. But your original question was, how do you define it that it is free at all? What is the definition of a free choice? That's where I think you started your question. Is
Yes,
that
yes.
part of your question or not?
Yes, that's part.
I have to tell you what your question is. Please write down your questions already.
Okay.
So how do you define free? Free means not influenced by vasanas or the world. So when you have a free choice, this cannot be influenced by what is happening in the world. It cannot even be influenced by your own vasanas. So what does that translate into? Knowledge is from the world. It cannot influence it. Guru is in the world, cannot influence your choice. Social media, blah, blah, all of it is in the world, it's obvious. Now, in your own mind, you have certain desires propping up. These desires also will not influence that choice. Your likes and dislikes, desires, emotions, none of it will influence that choice. So, free will means something which has no influence from either the external world or from your own personality. Because if you think about it, if you say that knowledge can influence it, right, that means only those people exposed to knowledge can ever have that thought. That's not true. If you say, no, gurus can influence it, then Rama was here, Krishna was here, Buddha was here, Christ was here. Could they influence? Could Christ influence Judas to choose differently? Could Krishna influence Duryodhan to choose differently? Could Rama influence Ravana to choose differently? They can't, no? Nothing from the world and nothing from your personality. So this is established, it can't be from the world. So okay, so can your own personality do it? Now, if you say your own personality can influence your choice, that means nobody will ever change. Because how do you have the capacity to change when you don't have the desire? So if you say that no human beings can change, then you will have to say that they have a choice which is not influenced. Otherwise, whatever the Vasna bank has, is that itself is to drive them. And the second problem you get when you refuse to accept free will is, how does that Vasna bank come? That's the second problem you will encounter.
So we will not know the decision is free will or not, right? That's very okay. Then why is I think the question, right?
Then what?
Because then this is the last part of this thing. So free will exists. That's why we are in this class and we do what we do, right?
No,
But
not necessarily. You could have vasanas for
philosophy.
philosophy. Yeah. Everybody in this class has not exerted their free will to be here. If you have earlier exerted your free will and created desires for Vedanta, at the moment you're functioning on desire.
So last part, do we know whether free will exists? That part,
We don't
because
know anything. We only have logic to help us. And the logic I have just given you. Now you have to decide for yourself. Does it exist or not exist? If you say that it doesn't exist, that means everything becomes predetermined. So you take the logic and you have to decide. According to you, it exists or doesn't exist? Because who's going to answer that question? Suppose X answers it by saying Y. Okay, then Z answers it by saying B. It will still be your choice, no? Which one you take. So you might as well work it out yourself.
thank you, ma'am.
Janki ji, Janki ji, suppose earlier, I was taking some decision based on my mind. Okay, there was no problem, nothing, no agitation. Now, suppose your intellect is developed and you are taking decision based on your intellect. Okay, so that is creating agitation. No? That will create agitation. Suppose I was eating some junk food. Now I stop. That will create agitation. So how to deal with this? So पहले का था वही अच्छा था. Hey, what is this new thing? Somebody will think in this way. अरे भाई ये तो मुश्किल में आ गया.
Yes, that is true. Think about it like this. Suppose you are using your keypad with 2 fingers. Tuck, 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 you were doing. And you're at a reasonably good speed. And then someone tells you, no, say you are not going to type very fast. Use all your fingers. So you stop using tuck, 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 which you were doing, and start using all the fingers. What will happen immediately? That speed will drop. The productivity will come down. But you have no option but to continue doing that until it rises again. So yes, you will be initially agitated, but in this case, you're taking the agitation now so that you're not going to face it in the future. But if you say, no, I was happy the way I was, then the same agitation and more will come in the future. So that is what enlightened choice is all about, right? That I'm willing to take something which is troubling me now so that my future will become smoother. So it will trouble you. Any change you make will be troublesome. Now your only question is, I want the trouble now or in the future? So some people say, रहने दो यार, अभी का, let us enjoy. बाद में का किसने देखा है?
बाद का बाद में देखेंगे.
But then बाद का आ जाता है. We think, so that day I was telling somebody that we better do X, Y, and Z because in 1 year's time, this problem will come if we don't do it now. So he's saying 1 year is very far away. It's a very interesting concept, because 1 year, like last year, March, was like yesterday, no? Like before you know it, 1 year later has come. Before you know it, you were 25 years old, and then suddenly you're 50 years old. And then suddenly you're 85 years old. It comes. That's the deal. So I sympathize, Milind. But the fact is, better take no trouble now only le lo. Because later on, that is coming. The future is coming. Only thing is, you must get the cause and effect correct, so that you're not unnecessarily troubling yourself. And the other thing is always, every change is better made in small doses, so that you're in that sweet spot where you're making the change, but you're not too agitated. And it's sustainable to make that change.
Both.
So if you were eating burgers every day, then you try to eat it 6 days. One day I will have. And instead of thinking, oh, for next 1 year, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, it's easier to say, okay, today I'm going to do this. If I'm stopping to eat chocolate, then I'll say, okay, today I won't have to. So it's in small bites. By the way, the third book on happiness has all this stuff. Just how to do these things. And when it comes, you can tell me whether it was useful or not. Okay, so practically, we make the change in small steps, in small bites. And theoretically, we understand that that change is necessary to prevent future troubles. Okay.
Thank you.
Who will read the next? Okay, let me see. All these quiet ones who aren't reading. Oops. Vidushi, will you read the next paragraph?
Religion is not meant to cater to your physical, mental, and intellectual desires. It is designed to rehabilitate the inner personality, reconstruct the fallen mind and intellect. The modern mind and intellect have deteriorated to an alarming extent, and they lie dilapidated in spiritual ruins. The role of religion is to pull the human race out of the ruinous state it has plunged into. The mind is bereft of all chastity. Human emotions have turned base, vulgar, violent, while the intellect has hit an all-time low. Thinking has lost its originality. Reasoning is no longer free and clear. The need of the day is to chasten human emotion, cultivate the art of thinking, strengthen the intellect, educate people on the higher values of life, regenerate their inner personality, guide them inward to recognize the supreme reality. That calls for consistent effort in a planned course for evolution. A role that religion is meant to play. The process of true spiritual education is gradual, slow but sure. Since results do not show up immediately, hardly any take to it. People do not want to strive and struggle, pay the price of peace and bliss. Instead, look out for instant relief and remedy. The role of religion is not to cater to your um, physical, mental, and intellectual desires, but rather to rehabilitate the inner personality and do so in a planned, gradual, systematic manner. But people find this hard because it is not immediately. The results are not don't show up immediately.
Very good, excellent. So what is the role of religion? To rehabilitate the fallen mind and intellect. How will we tell the whole world this thing? What a powerful paragraph this is, no? To rehabilitate the fallen mind and intellect. What do you mean by a fallen mind? A fallen mind is a mind that is full of negative emotions, full of agitations, a mind that is not able to enjoy the happiness of others, is not excited because others are doing it. Somebody went on a vacation and is so thrilled about their vacation and you're so happy for them. Somebody gets married, you're happy for them. Somebody buys a new car, you're happy for them. You're just excited that everybody is doing well. You see a couple, very happy with each other, very happy. Imagine the kind of mind which is so happy for other people, which is always like looking for their virtues, not their faults, which is always looking for excuses for their actions, not criticisms. Imagine what level of bliss and beatitude that mind would be. You're able to see another person's point of view so easily that you can actually, in your mind, it's quite justified how they are behaving. Just nothing against anybody for any reason. Such is a mind. The fallen mind is against everybody for every reason. As opposed to being delighted with everybody and delighted with all that happens. And that's what Oliver Goldsmith says. I'm a lover of happy human faces. I'm a lover of happy human faces. I enjoy the fact that you're happy. When you see children playing in the park, it makes us happy, no? Why does it make us happy? Think about it. Adults playing don't make us happy. Adults are playing their games. They're not making us happy. But when I see children playing in the park, they're screaming, they're whatever they're doing. It's fun. What makes you feel so happy when you see children play? Because of your growth above them. There is no competition there. That is why you are so delighted. You love the children, they are happy, you are happy. But you don't love adults because why not? Same level. Can't love. And therefore their happiness. Suppose somebody puts on their Facebook feed, they put something that they are in, I don't know, some Malaysia or I don't know, wherever people go nowadays, Baku or wherever it is they are going. And you're like, oh, what fun. Look, so-and-so has gone there. They must be having such a great time. And they put all, do you know, I'm sure you know, that there are actually studies done on how seeing other people's good lives, people are going into depression. You see all your friends have gone to America and Singapore and I don't know where, and then you go into depression. This is the sorry state of the human mind. So then other people give them advice. There'll be all sorts of articles on what to do. So that please understand that nobody's life is much better than yours because they only put up pictures of the good parts of their lives. And, they must be looking at your good pictures and saying, oh, how wonderful. Right? But the reason you need to say this at all is because why?
Yeah.
Huh?
There's a sense of competition.
Because there's no love in the heart. You are feeling bad because somebody went on a vacation. They spend their own money. They spend their own time. They took their own people. They took neither your money, nor your time, nor your people. Suppose they took your husband and went and then you started crying, okay, I can understand. She took her own husband and went. What are you crying about? Did she take your money? She took her own money. Did she waste your time over it? No, she wasted her own time over it. So, what are we unhappy about? Yes, FOMO, the fear of missing out. What are you missing out? You're not missing out. They are enjoying it and you are enjoying their enjoyment for free. Isn't it? Now somebody goes to, I don't know what, Iceland, and they put up nice pictures, of the light, where Norway they went. They put up these beautiful pictures of the lights and all the lovely places they stayed, the lovely sceneries, and they're all having fun. Now just think about it. You got to see those lights for free without being frozen in the cold, without having to take flights. Why would you not be happy? Say, oh, great, please send me pictures. Send me more pictures. Yes. So when we are not able to enjoy the joy of others, that is a fallen mind. When we are happy that something bad has happened to somebody, that is a fallen mind. अपने आप को बड़ा समझता था, देखो क्या हो गया उसके साथ. The fallen mind. When someone does something bad to us and we say, I can't do anything about it, but your karma will take care of you. It's a fallen mind. See the difference? Christ will say, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. He is saying, oh, karma, forgive them. They are children. Forgive them. Forgive them. We will say, wait, your karma will deal with you. God will deal with you. So you rejoice in the unhappiness or in the anticipation of unhappiness. You see a young couple and they're being very pally and very sweet and being very coo, then you say, see, will they behave like this now? Then they'll start fighting. They're enjoying the fact of the anticipation of their pain instead of saying, what can I do to protect them from that pain? This is a fallen mind. And fallen intellect, we don't need to do because we just did it. What is fallen intellect?
Becoming an encyclopedia.
Okay.
No discrimination.
No discrimination.
You lose discrimination. I mean, can you imagine that if I ask you today, what is the most frightful thing in your life? Would you rather be dead or mad? What would you answer?
Mad is okay.
Mad is okay. Okay. Most people would like to lose anything but their ability to be themselves. Would you like to be have Alzheimer's? What would you prefer? Just, Ronald Reagan, the President of the United States, got Alzheimer's and forgot that he was the President of the United States. What use was that entire... I mean, can you imagine what a man has to do to become President of the United States? You become President of your own building cooperative society, how much it will take? To get President of the United States, and you forget. It's like a fate worse than death, right? Nothing, you know nothing. You don't know your name, you don't know your family, you don't know anything. So every human being understands that the most precious thing he has is his intellect. Because without it, you know nothing. There's no discrimination, it's gone. You only have the mind that if something nice happens that moment, you'll be happy. The next moment something bad happens, you'll be unhappy. And you have no recollection of any of this. Nothing, it's all gone. It's clean slate. So therefore, the most powerful thing, the most useful, most powerful, most important thing we have is the intellect, which means our excuse me, discrimination. That is fallen. How can anything in our life work? It doesn't. The paragraph Mamita, the paragraph mentions originality for the intellect. What is that? Originality means your capacity to think for yourself. Think for yourself, we already did, right? Not influenced by the world, not influenced by the mind. You're able to think for yourself. You're able to think out of the box. You're able to think for yourself. You're able to take a decision in spite of what the world says and in spite of what your mind says. And when you have that capacity, it's an incredible thing. It eventually translates as being able to just think of something nobody else thinks. Yes, Sheetal, I just come to you. When you know that famous example, right? NASA spent $1 million or something on inventing a pen that could write in space. The thing is, all our pens, they work because of gravity, but in space there's no gravity. So how do you make that pen work? I mean, how does the ink come down? It'll go up. So how will your pen work? So they spend millions of dollars apparently in making that pen. And then some 5-year-olds in a class were asked, it's so difficult. What should we do? That's how our children were asked. The children have had a simple answer: use a pencil. You see, the most basic discrimination you don't have, then your mind, then it's going. So you become an original thinker. You become more creative. You become more original. You come up with new ideas. You come up with things nobody has heard of before. You come up with solutions for problems which are out of the box because not influence. All of that comes under original thinking. Thinking afresh, out of the box, afresh. Okay? Vidushi. Does rehabilitation of inner personality mean reduction of desires? Yes, it means that, because eventually it all boils down to that. How will you think afresh if you've got too many desires? Yes, Sheetal.
Yes, sorry, Jankiji. My question is before this paragraph, when you were talking about the fallen mind and intellect, I got confused when you said, when we say whatever karma you are doing, you will have to repay. So when we say whatever causes we make, we will get those effects. Or so how does it become fallen mind when we say whatever karmas or deeds I have done, I will get the effects of it? So how it becomes this thing of fallen mind or fallen intellect? Because that's the truth that we study, that as you saw, I mean, what you saw as you did. So I would like to understand that how it becomes a thought of a fallen mind.
Because you're enjoying the fact that you're anticipating pain for another person.
Okay, but not that you wish that or you mean that. It's the statement that you say that whatever causes you are making, you will get the effect. Still, it is.
Yeah, because yes, that is a fact. But are you happy for that person? So when you are happy that this person, like suppose somebody does something bad to you, and you're not in a position to do something bad to that person, okay? Some big bully comes and I don't know, you can't do anything to that person, okay? So the politician in the area comes and knocks down your house or something, and you're not in a position to do anything. They say his karma will take care of him. So you're enjoying the fact that the anticipation of the pain he's going to go through, which is just the opposite of Christ, who says, Father, forgive them. He is in pain, right? They put nails in his hands. Like he's bleeding. And his only thought, he could say, Father, please make my wounds go away. Father, please make me feel comfortable. Father, please release me from this. He could say any of these. He didn't. He said, Father, forgive them. Imagine what must be the love in his heart. He's least bothered what's happening to him. He's thinking, Baap re, unka kya hoga? Let me do whatever I can to protect them.
So it can't be that it's not I'm enjoying for others' pain, but because I am in pain, maybe I'm stating what is the truth. It can't be like that. It shows so that's what I wanted to understand.
Is it giving you solace to say that?
Okay.
So if it's giving you solace, means there's enjoyment of the fact that that person is going to suffer, na? I mean, fallen mind, don't fall in the sense, let us not enjoy that somebody is going to be in pain. Let us sort him out. He's doing something wrong, we sort him out. But the way you sort out Manit, you will sort him out, but you're not enjoying the fact that he's going to be in pain. You're just doing it because you don't want him to be in pain in the future.
Of course.
So, like, that's fine. You sort out people, but you're doing it to help them rather than to help yourself.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Janki.
Janki ji, we need to be really, really developed to think that way.
Yeah, that is true.
My God.
But you don't have to go all the way, incrementally. You don't have to say, oh my God, I'm so horrible, I have a fallen mind. We all have a fallen mind. Let's take it as a given. And now what do? We just do our sadhana incrementally, so that slowly, it's not like this anymore. Don't have to like compare ourselves to Christ, Baba. We cannot become Christ overnight like that. But slowly, we keep doing what we need to do every day. We're doing our karma, we're doing our bhakti, we're doing our jnana, day by day, every day. Imagine if you just put in 1 hour a day in your studies. 1 hour a day. How many days are there in a year?
365.
365.
How many hours would you have spent studying?
365.
1 hour a day on karma. How many hours would you have spent doing karma? So little by little, day by day, as little as you can, as little as you can sustain, take it up. And one day you will wake up and find yourself Christ.
Janki ji, if we study the same thing, why don't we understand, as you said, the Christ, the example, last example you give, that instead of telling that they will enjoy their karma, they will suffer their karma, and compassion will not come to us. Even though we study this Christ, Bhagavad Gita, everything, but this understanding will not come unless explained. What is the secret behind that? We don't develop compassion for the wrongdoers. Oh, now we have said, so it has to be contemplated and worked on in our daily life. Otherwise, so much we have studied, it will not occur to our mind. Why? It is not in our heart. Maybe compassion is not in our heart. That's why it will not occur to us, right?
That's the whole process of knowledge, no? As you gain more and more knowledge, you understand one step higher. It's always be like that.
Okay. Because we have studied this Christ nailing in school itself as in the textbooks. But in this angle, we have not understood it.
So knowledge comes in phases, na?
We feel for Christ than to learn. We feel for him than learning the concept.
Yes,
Thank you so much. It was very powerful for the day. Thank you.
Think about it for this week and think about when you are experiencing a fallen mind. Just think about it, like write it down. Where am I seeing that my mind is not up to the mark over here? Just write down. You don't have to do anything with this. Write down. So you're aware of it. You don't have to do anything about it. Just be aware. Jayashree has an announcement.
Hari Om, everyone. So we want to help. That's why we are going offline in Mumbai. Please do join whoever can. Let's give that 1 hour on Thursdays. That's 7:15 to 8:15 in Santa Cruz West. And it's a small place, so the house is going to be full pretty soon. So please, book that seat and get in touch with Bharat or me. And the second announcement is we are going in full swing on social media, and Vedanta perspective on various different topics. So do spread that, and that may inspire many around to, take this path, and of course, increase our organic reach as well. That can help us for our bigger vision for the university. So keep doing that as well. Thank you. Hari Om. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Jayashree. Okay, so we will
Hari.
meet next time. You have 3 things for this week. One is write down about the fallen mind. 2 is if you are in Mumbai, come to the real world class. And 3 is that do all this, whatever you're supposed to do for social media, like, share, subscribe sort of thing, in the hope that a wider audience gets to know about it. That's our little karma for the week. Thank you. Hari Om.